Welcome to the Goof and Goober Show. You decide who's the goof and who's the goober. Join Matthew and Regan as they talk all things from their own personal life questions to reviews on movies and TV shows. Now, your hosts, Regan and Matthew.
Shabuya! Shabuya! Roll
call.
My name is Matthew. I am back with the Goof and Goober. I'm here to host. I'm here with Regan, and he's going to talk about some stuff, and we're having a good time.
Well, Shabuya. Yeah. Shabuya. Roll call. My name is Regan. I like to dance. I like to talk on my podcast. Shabuya. Yeah. Shabuya.
Roll call. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it is a pleasure officially being back with the Goof and Goober Show.
Oh, jeez.
Last week, I was supposed to be hosting episode number 12. I had a work call that took priority. So big shout out to Regan again for hosting 2 weeks in a row. I was in Hawaii, then I had a work call. Big round of applause for Regan. I don't tell him this enough, but man, I really appreciate you.
Wow, I really
and you
appreciate
do a lot
that,
for this
actually.
podcast
Thanks, man.
that I don't really do sometimes, and I just want to say I'm proud of you, and I really appreciate you as a person.
Wow, thanks, man.
man.
Know, I do also somewhat blame our viewers because they they haven't shared us enough to make you quit your job.
Yeah, that's true.
So
actually, I think we want to make you quit your job first.
Nah, dude.
Yeah. You're used to in and out situations. You know?
Please no, please. I need my job, please.
At least a month.
Please.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, like I said, it's a pleasure being back with you guys for episode 12. We've got a lot of things that we're going to talk about. In particular, today we're going to talk about Dungeons and Dragons, Honor Among Thieves. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. We are going to talk just a little bit about life, have a good time.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not going to be an extremely long podcast today, but it's going to be a fun one. So,
well, we did have a good pre-show.
Oh, yeah, we did. We had a 45-minute pre-show. So,
right. And
next time,
but
show up.
Yeah, I mean, and there was a little surprise in the pre-show. If you didn't get to watch that, too bad. You'll find out later with the surprises.
Check out Instagram, Twitch, YouTube. Check out our Spotify if you're on Apple Podcast, if you're on Google Podcasts. All of you guys, go over to our Instagram page, Facebook page, all of our socials. Give us a follow. It's all going to be under the Goof and Goober Show. You just type in Goof and Goober Show up at the top. And they'll all be there.
Yeah, just be clear. It's not Goofy and Goober Show.
It's not Goofy, yes. It's the
Goof. Every time that
Goober.
I go on YouTube and type in Goof and Goober, it wants to correct it to Goofy and Goober Show. Also, this is a big shout out to those people that do the auto correcting. Screw you guys. Literally, screw you guys.
Screw you.
I don't care if you follow us or not. No. The autocorrect people. Everyone who's watching,
yes.
I do care.
Everybody else, thank you. But all
Thank you
the
so
other
much.
people for the autocorrect stuff, we hate you.
Yeah,
so.
screw you. Yeah, we hate you.
So
JK.
What we're gonna do here, and again, okay. So the reason why we say go follow our Instagram page and our socials, little hinty, we've got some prizes we're gonna give out, and we're gonna come up with a system. And so we're going to give a big, after this pod, we're going to post a video on what we're doing moving forward. So be there, be square, like, comment, let us know you came from the podcast.
And share it.
We'll see
Make
there.
sure you
And
share because we will be trying to shoot for a milestone, guys.
We're
trying to
shooting
shoot
for
some milestones.
Yeah, so first things first, before we jump into anything, I want to ask, do you have any hauls or anything this week?
A little bit, but not really like crazy any hauls. The only hauls. Oh man. I mean,
Do it. Just do it. Just do it. Just do it.
I'd have to
man.
go get it though. That's the thing.
What is it? Okay,
It's-
I'll go first. Or wait, but you need to see this. You really need to see this.
Okay, let's see it, dude. You always
Okay.
get freaking hauls, dude.
Dude, I get a haul
hauls.
every week. Look, I get at least one haul.
Well, I got a
Alright.
story. How about instead of a haul?
Sure. Okay. So, I went to Target yesterday,
Oh gosh,
and I was just peering around Target. Just
no,
having a good time.
please
And I found this.
don't.
It's a plastic model scale kit
Oh gosh.
for Boba Fett's
Oh,
Starship. Yep.
and
it's
is
like a
it?
plastic model kit?
Yeah,
I'll be
dude.
I'll be posting a video on Instagram when
Good
I
luck
get it
putting
done.
That good. Putting that thing together.
But yeah, so I got that bad boy this week. Outside of that, I haven't really done anything. Or
That's
gotten
it?
anything. That's about it. Like I said, I only got one thing this week. Yep.
Dude. Well,
Yep.
let me give you a little
Give me a little story.
little story. So this past weekend, me and my family had a little get together. And we live up in Minnesota. And if you don't know anything about what is going on with the weather in Minnesota, let me tell you a little something. We got the worst weather around here.
Minnesota's
so don't come
drunk.
up here. It's ridiculous. We had snow and sleet this last Saturday, Friday, Saturday.
Oh yeah, Friday, Saturday.
And pushing zeros to 20s, right around there for that kind of thing. Next week we're shooting for 80 degrees.
I know.
Crazy.
Pickleball season, baby. Pickleball season.
Oh,
Oh,
baby.
whoa.
Don't get me
Pickleball.
started. Anyways, so what happened though is we had a hotel and we're renting out some rooms there. But then my brother-in-law, my sister's, shout out to my sister who watches and listens to the podcast.
Ooh.
She's listening right now. But her husband does the What's Not app thing. What's not? Or, right? Yeah.
Whatnot.
Whatnot app.
Mm-hmm.
And he is on there a lot throughout the day. And he has shown me all of his freebies, his giveaways that he has collected on the Whatnot app for basically all of his. And he has got a stack of just comics, Pokemon cards, like sports cards, comic books, figurines. And he made a desk, and it's just full of it all. And it's crazy to me that this guy's, how much he's got. He's got thousands of dollars just in giveaways because he's sitting on there for like 2 hours finding the next giveaways. So that's my little weekly haul story.
So are you...
I can't hear you.
Sorry, guys. I've got an adjustable desk. I can move it up and down
Ooh,
as
so
I
cool.
please.
Me too.
So yeah, but mine's a lot cooler than yours. I got buttons here, and it lights up. So, so are you going to be doing Whatnot yourself? Or are you going to try to get?
I tried Whatnot a while ago. You really have to be paying attention. Not necessarily paying attention. You just have to find the right ones, and it takes a while to kind of find the right ones. and I kind of like, I'd rather do something else with my time.
Sure.
Than just sit on my phone or just whatever. So I decided.
I've gotten
to.
a couple things from Whatnot.
Yeah, you and your wife do that a little. Well, you started a little bit a while ago, didn't you?
On Whatnot? My wife did?
I thought so.
No, Kaylee never did.
Oh.
No, I
Never
did.
Mind. Never mind.
So I got, if you guys remember the 1964 Spider-Man Vulture's Prey comic that I showed you, it's got Vulture on the front. That's where I got it.
Baby.
Whatnot. Yep, and I had a $10 off on that thing, so that was pretty freaking sweet.
Jeez.
Okay, so we're gonna jump into the first thing of the night. And I actually wanted to. I'm changing it up a little bit. And you actually don't know because I forgot to put it into our Google Doc.
Dude.
We're gonna talk about something. But yesterday we had Secret Invasion trailer come out. So I want to do a live react to the Secret Invasion trailer.
Okay.
If you're open to it, I really wanted to get your opinion on it.
Yeah. I haven't seen it, actually.
What?
I haven't seen it.
What?
I haven't.
Oh my gosh, it's so good, dude. Yeah, we got to watch it.
Yeah, we got to watch it now.
Let me pull it up.
I'm curious. I was going to look it up. I'm like, wait, the Secret Invasion sounds like Secret Wars.
No, it's close.
I have right here.
Mm-hmm.
But,
no, Secret Invasion is. Did you ever watch Miss Marvel or not Miss Marvel? Captain Marvel.
Captain Marvel the movie?
Yep.
Yeah, I did watch that.
Okay, so I gotta turn up.
I literally watched it actually this weekend. Well, not the whole thing.
Is it getting louder? Is it? Let me know if this is getting. I gotta really talk into this thing.
Who's telling you that?
No, I'm just saying. I just feel like I gotta really talk into this.
Oh,
is this loud now?
Let me pull up my audio thing. Hang on, let me pull up the old people chat. You might need to talk a little louder.
Oh, hello.
Oh, that's probably good right there. I don't want to say that's pretty bad.
I got to just really talk into it. I'm not used to it.
That's what I have saw the reviews on about this microphone, that you have to really talk into it. But yeah,
I think that's with any really good mic, though.
True.
In my opinion.
True. Could be. Reese, do you have any? Oh, never mind. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say is so in Miss Marvel they had the scrolls, and the scrolls can shapeshift into anyone.
Right.
Same voice, same all of it. At the end of Infinity War, the post-credit scene, we saw what's his name get blipped. I say blipped. We saw what's his name, Nick Fury get blipped, but come to find out that wasn't actually Nick Fury when we watched Spider-Man No Way Home, or not No Way Home, Spider-Man Far From Home. At the end credit scene there, it's come to find out that wasn't actually Nick Fury, where they found out Nick Fury's off planet. So this Nick Fury that we've been seeing actually hasn't been Nick Fury for a while. And so this is the new Nick. This is the actual Nick Fury.
I see it when I freaking believe it.
But then also is the theory is like some of the Avengers might not actually be the Avengers. We've been some of them might be Skrulls. And so that's where Secret Invasion comes into play, because it's like anybody could be a Skrull and you don't have any clue, because they pull from your memories, they pull from everything. So that's where the craziness comes into play. So, and I hate it. By the way, I hated Captain Marvel. Not a very good movie. I didn't like Brie Larson, to be honest with you. She was kind of squid. But yeah.
Okay. Interesting.
So yeah, let me pop it open here.
Yeah, I'd like to see this, because That does sound very intriguing. But it doesn't. It sounds like the Secret Invasion was a very new concept. It's like,
Invasion?
I mean, I don't know. Like when for comics, I'm trying to figure out when that came out. Like that comic came out because I have a 2022 Secret Invasion, Home Invasion.
2008
Yeah, that's what I'm seeing.
is what it says here.
So that's a pretty new comic.
15 years ago?
Yeah, that's pretty new.
Yep. I mean, it brings in a lot of different stuff, so I'm cool with it.
Right.
I am
I mean,
open to it.
that's like, I mean, Iron Man was coming out and all that stuff was coming out. Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, you're good. You're good. So let's just watch it. It will comment every so often so we don't get flagged. Because last time we got flagged.
Big time.
Yeah,
I can't
actually,
hear it.
let's
I
check
can't
here.
hear it.
Yeah, hold up. I'm restarting. Oh, stupid ads.
Oh, baby.
Baby. What? There we go. Yeah, baby.
So that's the real Nick Fury, huh?
Since you've been
Yeah,
gone,
you can tell he's a little bit different.
Just make
miles
sure that,
worse.
you know.
How do you think
How
I
do you
got
think I
back?
came back?
Is this going to be good? Is this a movie or is it a series? That's what I'm curious.
This is a series.
This is a series
You're in no
on
shape
Disney
for this
Plus?
fight that lies before us.
Yep.
Old friend.
See, that's the main scroll guy right
He's the main scroll guy?
there. Yep, he's like the head leader. See, they said Nick Fury was dead.
This is personal.
Okay.
Very few of us know about the wars fought in the shadows.
So they got to
Raged
come up
on
with
this
a weapon to identify
You
the
feel responsible?
scrolls. So is this more about the scrolls or is this about just Nick Fury?
No,
Where
you're
are the
good.
Avengers?
No, I
Make
think
sure we don't
commentary is
get-
good, so that way we don't get banned. And we could pause in here. By the way, we got
Mhm.
we almost got a copyright strike. So,
Sure.
no, I think so. I don't really know where they're going to take this. I don't know enough about Secret Invasion to be able to say, okay, this is what they're looking for. But what I do know is that this can bring a lot of twists to what we've already seen from all the other movies, right? Because like now they can pretty much bring anyone back and say they were a Skrull in the end, right?
Exactly.
Like Tony Stark actually was a Skrull. Captain America was actually a Skrull,
Yeah.
and that's
But
where
then that could set up Secret Wars too.
it could.
Because that's
Because in Secret Wars, and you haven't read it. Captain America plays a big role in Secret Wars.
right.
A huge role, obviously. He's like one of the leaders of the Avengers, so he plays a role. But I don't know. I think Quantumania is going to play a big role in Secret Wars, bringing multiverses together. Because we're gonna have to bring in Wolverine, we're gonna have to bring in Mr. Fantastic, we're gonna have to
that'll
bring
be
in
interesting to see
a lot
that.
of different characters.
I don't know.
So,
all right. Yeah, go ahead. Keep going.
but yeah, hopefully this brings back Captain America.
Avengers.
Which, when I watched it,
This
does that
war is
not look
blood.
like potentially Captain America right here? Steve Rogers
No. Doesn't look
This
like
right
Steve
here.
Rogers. Yeah, this guy
from behind,
Yeah, no way.
slick back hair.
He doesn't have slick back hair. Are you kidding me? I guarantee you that looks like a black guy. It's a black guy.
You're an idiot if you think this is. How do I show this? Let me just show this to you.
You'll have to
Copy
Either-
image.
You got
Copy
just
image.
show everyone, show people this.
Oh, show people. Okay, I'm gonna show people. Okay,
Yeah,
let me pull it up.
don't.
Steve
this
Rogers,
is
slick
this is an
back
argument
hair.
with everyone.
This is not an argument with everyone. This is literally just me saying
definitely not
this,
the guy. Definitely
this
not
could
the guy.
totally be Steve Rogers.
No.
What are you talking about?
No, not the Steve.
That
Rogers.
couldn't be Steve Rogers at all.
That guy.
Not even a little bit?
Not even a little bit. That guy didn't
He
have
slicks
slick
back
hair.
his hair.
He slicks back his hair. Yeah, for sure. I agree. Steve Rogers slicks back his hair. But that picture
You
that
find
you showed
out-
me with the
so-
back of the guy's head,
When we
that's
watch it,
not Steve Rogers.
when we watch it moving forward, you tell me who it is then. When we finish it.
When we
Because
finish,
it doesn't identify who it is at all, which tells me that Marvel's trying to play one of those games where they're trying to hide the character.
Ooh.
This war is one I have to fight.
Alone.
Consequences.
You're the most wanted man on the planet.
Oh.
You don't know what they have planned for you.
Just from Game of Thrones.
Interesting.
Fury.
Ooh, the scroll. Where you going?
Are you telling me that could not be Captain America at all?
It's not Captain America. at
You
all.
could, you could totally say that could be Captain America. Why are they hiding
look,
the face then?
Look, you can see the reflection in this guy's in that window. You
Okay,
tell
who is it
me.
then?
You tell me
Who
who
is
the
that?
heck that is.
Who is-
That does not
Reese?
look like Steve
Reese?
Rogers. That does not
Reese?
look like Steve.
You're in the
Don't
chat
you-
right now.
No.
Reese,
Ask the
I want your
chat.
opinion here.
Ask the
Chat.
chat.
Go ahead, chat. Tell
Don't
us
go
who you think
just
it
to
is.
Reese.
He's the
I
only
mean,
one
I
in
love-
chat.
No, we got a guy, somebody in Facebook still
Okay,
watching.
whoever Facebook. We can't have we
And
don't
we
have
got
comments
2
on.
views on YouTube right now. Okay,
I'm
if you
just
look
saying this
closely,
would be a really good
if you-
undercover
okay,
look.
no way is this Steve
Yeah,
Rogers.
in what's his name? The guy who plays Steve Rogers.
No, I just went
He is
and looked.
actually not a very big guy at all. He's not that big.
What?
He's really not. He's not that big.
Steve?
Look,
Wait, Steve Rogers, the man
I'm talking about
that
Chris
the-
Evans. Talking
No,
about Chris
no,
Evans.
Okay,
the guy
but we're
who
talking
plays-
about no, we're not talking about Chris Evans. We're talking about Steve Rogers. We're not talking about Chris Evans. We're talking about Steve Rogers. Steve Rogers was mutilated. His whole body was changed to be a superhuman. You can't say, well, he's not that big.
he's
When
not that big.
scientists changed
Go back
the
and watch
chemistry of his body to be
Go
a
back
super.
and watch.
Oh,
Go back and watch.
watch what? Watch what? Watch
Like
Steve.
the early videos is that he's really not that big of a guy.
He is a big guy.
Oh my gosh. This could absolutely be.
No, it
I'm
is
showing you
not.
this now. I'm showing you this now. I'm showing you this now. Steve
All right, let me see
Rogers,
it.
sharing you. Boom. This guy right here. That could totally be this guy right here. Literally. Literally. Yeah, look at his right arm. His right arm is jacked. His right arm's jacked. You also have to remember, he
Yeah,
looks
exactly.
small. He looks small in this picture. He looks kind of small, but that's because it's dark. And what do dark colors do, Regan? What do dark colors do? It slims you. That's why I wear black shirts.
They don't do it that bad. They don't do it
Yes,
that
they
bad.
do.
Let's go look up the picture again.
We'll see.
Yeah, No,
Nick
I cannot
Fury.
believe it. What would Steve Rogers have to do?
I can't hear you. It's really loud.
What would Steve Rogers have? What would his whole?
He was the first
purpose-
Avenger.
Last fight.
The first Avenger.
He was the first Avenger.
Yeah, he was. But Nick Fury, you think he would be all aboard the
Steve Rogers?
Steve Rogers train?
I think he could.
Ev-
He
I mean,
literally
out of everyone
seeked out.
in the Marvel universe,
I just found a GIF a GIF of Chris Evans. You're bigger than this guy.
No.
Yes,
Guaranteed
you
not.
are.
No.
You are bigger than this guy.
Okay, maybe not Chris Evans, but not Steve
No,
Rogers.
this is Steve Rogers. Right here. He is not that big. You are bigger than him.
That's not even him. Go to the,
Yes,
the
it
Captain
is.
America picture of him.
That is him.
Go
that is
to
him
the Captain
when
America.
Nick Fury goes to the place and he's boxing the bag. That's him boxing the bag.
You are
look at that skinny neck. He's got a semi big chest. His arms are they're okay. Shoulders okay. You're just as big, if not bigger than.
Let
that
me
guy.
share my screen here. I'll show you what he is.
Look at that.
Like.
Look at that guy. He's not that big.
He's so big, dude.
He's not that big.
How about I show you this
Gosh.
picture? Let me share my screen. I'll show you.
I'm
I'll
letting
show
you share
what he
your
looks-
screen.
This is what he actually would look like. Okay, people. That's what he would actually look like. Okay, just a big, massive man. Yeah. I mean,
Look,
I
nothing
kind of.
against
I don't know
Chris
if you
Evans.
guys felt it, but I kind of felt it when I saw that image. I was like, "Ooh, Steve Rogers. You're the reason why I got into comic books. Can you give me a little ring a ding ding sometime? You know what I mean?"
Well, that was the trailer for Secret Invasion. I think Captain America is going to pop out. I think that's the secret character.
Well,
I don't
actually,
know.
that movie looks. I mean, not movie, TV series. That doesn't even look like a TV series, though. That looks like a legit, like a
movie.
Like not even a movie. I mean, it looks like a movie for sure, but it looks like the old MCU that we know and love. That we haven't gotten back yet since the Infinity War, and that is probably what people want.
I could argue a couple of those, but
Maybe Guardians of the Galaxy for sure.
no, I'm talking.
I don't think
Spider-Man
and
No Way
Spider-Man.
Home, Far
Yeah,
From
I would
Home,
agree with that.
That all happened after.
Spider-Man and Guardians of the Galaxy and Thor. Those are
You're
the only
ridiculous.
ones. But everything
Talking
else.
about Thor: Love and Thunder.
Oh yeah, dude, that was so good.
You're ridiculous.
How could you say that? How
was a
could you
horrible
say
movie.
that about a great movie that
was a horrible movie.
Oh my gosh, I cannot even.
It was a horrible
Ragnarok.
movie.
Did you like Ragnarok?
I did like Ragnarok.
What's the difference?
You want to know the difference?
Yeah, I want to know.
You really want to know the difference?
What's the difference?
They bring in characters that mean nothing moving forward. Nothing. Who'd they bring in? They brought in Jane. She just randomly, she gets powers now. Now she's dead. She's gone. Forever. She's gone.
Oh my gosh. You don't think that they
Gore.
could probably? Oh my gosh.
Gore. They ruined that character.
I would say they did ruin him.
Yeah.
I didn't
Yeah.
like that. What they did.
It was
with him.
horrible. Look, I
But
will say
that's not
this.
just
The
one
movie was
little
funny.
thing.
The
It
movie was funny.
hilarious.
It was funny, but
The kid acting
It's
was
not-
bad too. I would say.
yeah, the kid acting was really bad. I'm surprised that wasn't the first thing you said, because it ruins the whole freaking movie for you.
It wasn't
apparently.
even. It was a
Yeah,
small.
like when we
part.
watched Avatar: The Way of the Water, the whole time the kid
The
actors
kids were way
blah,
bigger
blah, blah.
apart than the
The
freaking
kid
kids
actors,
in,
blah, blah,
in
blah.
Thor Ragnarok.
Whatever.
I mean, Thor: Love and Thunder.
Yeah, but you wrote off that whole movie because of stupid kids.
Yeah, because
Kids. Who were
the
supposed to
kids
play
were
kids.
really a big part of Avatar.
Yeah, they were playing kids. Kids were playing kids, and they didn't play kids very well.
They were
Because
really
they're
bad
kids.
No, not all of them were kids.
They were all kids.
No,
All right.
one of them was a 50 or 60, 70-year-old girl trying to be a kid that sucked at it.
Well, that was a bad decision by
I
James
agree.
James Cameron, I think is what his name is. can't
James
remember.
Gunn.
Nope, that's James Cameron.
James Cameron, yep, you're right.
James Gunn is the one who is doing
Sigourney
Guardians.
Weaver. She's a good actor, don't get me wrong. But she just
That was
not-
horrible.
not somebody you want to be playing a teenager girl. But anyways, yeah, I this Secret Invasion
What's your
actually
rating?
is pretty good.
Like, what are you
Out of the
what are you
trailer
hyped for?
or just I guess
Like your excitement for it moving forward.
My
now that
excitement
you've
for
seen the
this is actually pretty high. Like I said, I think, I mean, right off the bat, I'm thinking, wow, there's a lot that could happen in this, especially with the scrolls. Fun fact, actually, I had no idea what people were talking about when they were saying scrolls until the other day when I was watching Captain Marvel, and they started mentioning scrolls. I was like, oh my word, this is what they were talking about. So now I know when people are saying scroll, that person's a scroll, of what that means. And I was like, I know what you mean now. So
that makes sense.
that makes sense. I'm not the biggest nerd, but I do nerd out sometimes.
Yeah. You don't really nerd out all that much, and that's okay.
I
You know what
nerd
mean?
out all the time.
Um,
Anyways, I would say
what would you give it a rating?
I would rate this excitement. I'd say 5 out of 5. I can't wait because not only am I excited to see this, I mean, I guess my intentions for this is great, pretty high. My standard for this is going to be pretty high just because of Infinity War and all that jazz, and that this needs to kind of exceed that, or not necessarily exceed it, but continue that.
Talking about Infinity War or Endgame?
Endgame. My bad.
No, you're good. There's different thoughts to it.
Yeah. Endgame. And they need to continue. I mean, just that whole MCU. I mean, the second, whatever phase that is, the second phase.
I think we're in phase 4 or 5.
Yeah,
now?
but what was Endgame phase?
Phase 3, I think.
Phase 3. Phase 3. Yeah. Phase 3. They need to try to continue that into this next phase. And this next phase of phase 4 has been, I mean, besides the movies that came out of phase 1, 2, and 3, or not even 1, 2, 3, phase 2 and 3, they need to continue that into these next phases. And these phases are not going the way that we've wanted them to go, just with, Miss Marvel, the showing of Ironheart. No one's gotten really excited for her. I don't think anyone got super excited for her when they saw her in Black Panther 2. She-Hulk, it hasn't been the best for Disney or Marvel, and they need to switch it up. And this could be it. This really could be it that could get them back on track. I've been thinking that the Marvel universe has been kind of pulling back towards the DC type of what do you call it? Not context, but the DC way, that they just want to make money, and that's all they're looking for. Just making money, not necessarily the content. They just trying to get something out so that people will go watch it and then give them money. And it's not necessarily about the content that they're putting out there. So this looks good. I'm in high hopes for it. High hopes. So that's I'd say a 5.5. And yeah, what about you?
I'm gonna also go. I'm going 5.5 here too. I think it's really hard to not be excited about Samuel L. Jackson.
Yeah, sure.
Being back on the main stage with the MCU, back at Nick Fury. Like, I think it's just exciting
100%.
to see that. And I mean, literally, it's like when you're watching Samuel L. Jackson, whether it's, I mean, gosh, like, name the movies, right? Like, name
Snake
the
on
movies
a Plane.
he's been on. I mean, he's just been.
You looking up all the movies he's been in?
I'm gonna pull them all up because there's just so many out there.
There has been.
That it's just like
Star Wars.
like Django Unchained, Glass. You're talking like
yeah,
he's on Unbreakable. He's on
he's
Die
an
Hard. He's been
iconic
literally
actor.
on everything.
Iconic, and he's
And when
never
you pull,
yeah. Sorry,
when you pull a guy like that, no, and this is where it comes to Coach Carter. Gosh, I love Coach Carter. That's a great movie. When you pull in a guy like that to run his own TV show, basically, like he's the leader of the TV show, like you're excited. It'd be like if I was bringing it, if Robert Downey Jr. ran his own Iron Man show, like we would all be very, very excited about that. It's the same feeling I get with this. It's like we've got a bomb actor in Samuel L. Jackson who can pretty much carry the screen by himself. And we get a full season of it. I'm really excited about that. And just like, and we're not quite there yet, but like Secret Wars, for an example, I'm really excited about that. Similarly to Secret Invasion now. And so my goal and my expectations, I'm going to try to read up on some of the Secret Wars stuff to kind of understand what are we talking about? What are we looking at? What could possibly happen? Because I don't know anything except the fact that Skrulls, they can shapeshift into whoever they want. They have all their memories. They can speak, sound, run, do everything the same. And come to find out, Nick Fury was a Skrull, and now we've got the Nick Fury back on Earth. So it's just like the possibilities are endless at this point on what was real, what could be changed, and how the dynamics of the characters could be different moving forward.
Yeah,
like Iron Man could have been a Skrull in the end, and then we get a completely different Iron Man.
when is this
the next
coming
movie?
out?
This August, I think.
Okay.
Let me just double check.
Yeah, I'm not seeing anything.
Samuel L. Jackson, Secret Invasion. It comes out June. Holy, June 21st. So we've got 3 months: April, May, June.
3 months to prepare for this thing.
Gosh, we've got so much, dude. Like, think, hey, we've got Guardians of the Galaxy coming out soon. Secret Invasion. What else? Holy, like
There's a lot going on. Yeah, there's going to be a lot that goes on. Just to let everyone know too, while Matthew looks this up, we're planning on doing a Mario review with my son. So be ready for that, guys. He won't come until a couple weeks. When does Mario come out?
I was actually just going to look at that because that comes out this weekend. Is he going to be in town?
Not this weekend. I wish. Technically, no, I don't have. But the weekend after this. So not next week, but the weekend after that. We'll have to do a pre-recording of that.
Sure.
We might have to do a Sunday show or
we'll figure it out.
Saturday show. We'll figure it out. So, but yeah, I just want to show.
There's so many good movies coming out. Like,
oh yeah,
and ones that I'm not really like excited to see, but I'm like, maybe I'll go watch it for the podcast. Like Evil Dead is coming out. Looked like an interesting show. Would be a fun one we could watch together. Or Scream, or and here's the thing. Like, I'm open to watching just about anything. Like when we went and watched Cocaine Bear, we were like, I don't know what that is, and it turned out to be a friggin' fantastic movie.
So you know what? So at work, we were having our Monday morning meeting, and they started talking about all these movies that they want to see, and I'm like, yeah, I saw that. Oh yeah, I saw that. Yeah, I saw that. And I was just like, man, I really am a moviegoer. I am a movie guy now, and yeah. I should have dropped the old Goof and Goober with them too.
Not yet. Just wait a little bit. Get your feet wet in the door.
Yeah, you're right.
Settled first. Wait till you get a laptop.
I do have a laptop now. I got it on Friday, so it's
nice.
official. It's official.
There you
But,
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that is our review of the Secret Invasion new trailer. It just came out yesterday. I'm excited. It was one of my. It was up there on one of my most anticipated for this next year. So I'm really excited. I think it's gonna be fun. Like I said, Samuel L. Jackson can carry a screen. We've seen it in so many movies, and this is gonna be one of those TV shows that I think he'll do a fantastic job at. But now we're going to jump into our paid program here. Well, paid by, well, it came out of our
Yes.
pockets. But yeah, we're going to talk some Dungeons and Dragons. Honor Among Thieves.
Mm-hmm.
So let me give you a quick little synopsis really quick here, because I think Regan and I, we weren't expecting this movie to be as good as it was. So I'm really excited to talk about this. So synopsis is a charming thief and a band of unlikely adventurers embark on an epic quest to retrieve a long-lost relic, but their charming adventure goes dangerously awry. When they run afoul of the wrong people. Wow, you could just not put those words in, because I don't know what those words mean. It's an awry, AWRY. I've never heard of that. A foul, AFOUL. Never heard of those, but whatever.
This is old times talk. This is like
I know.
old
It's
English.
crazy. It came out March 3rd, 2023. That's not right. That's not right at all, I don't think. Is it?
Yeah, or April 3rd.
No.
Or April.
Last
it was
weekend.
March 29th.
It says on here release date March 3rd, which is wrong.
What the heck?
Directors John Francis Daly and Jonathan Goldstein, adapted from Dungeons and Dragons. Produced by Jeremy Latcham, Brian Golden, Nick Meyer. There's a solid cast here too. A huge solid cast. We've got Chris Pine as Egan. We got Michelle Rodriguez as Holga. We've got Reggie Jean Page as Zinc. We've got Justice Smith as Simon. We've got Sophia Little as Doric. Hugh Grant as Forge. Chloe Coleman as Kira. And then Daisy Head as Sophina, and many more. But those are the main cast. Regan, give me your non-spoiler review here, and your rating, and then I'll give you mine, and we can jump into some spoilers.
Before we go into anything, the Chloe Coleman, I figured out what movie she came from. Do you remember? We just saw it. I knew
Chloe
she looked
Coleman?
so familiar. 65. She was Yes. She was the daughter of what's his face?
Oh, okay. Now I
I knew, like,
Okay.
I in the movie, I was like, Matthew, she looks so familiar. Where is she from?
Who is she?
Oh, The Last of Us.
I thought it was the Last of Us episode, or where they were at Tommy's world, Tommy's place.
Yeah, you're racist, dude. You're racist.
Why? Because she had poofy hair, and in this episode she didn't.
Yeah,
Wow, that's kind of racist. You only think that they can have poofy hair.
Mm-hmm. The
Wow.
poofiest. No, I was told before going into this movie that this was going to be a bad movie. It wasn't,
Same.
or not necessarily it was going to be a bad movie, but it wasn't that good. I shouldn't say it was bad. I was actually surprised at some of that there was comedy in this that I actually thought it was pretty funny. There was some good points in here, and they really put it all on the table of kind of what was at stake for each character. And so Holga, I think, was probably one of my favorite characters just because of how everybody reacted to her. And I think that was probably, what's his name? Chris Pines.
Chris Pine.
Yeah, Chris Pines does a really good job. I think he's there's so many good actors named with the name Chris. You know, you got Chris Pines, Chris Evan, Chris Hemsworthy, Chris Pratt. Like, so many good actors with the name Chris. And Chris Pine did a really good job here, too. Pretty much kind of leading this whole team in that to conquer the big
bad.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. I'm not trying to like. I'm trying to think of a non-spoiler word that would help people understand the big bad guy, I guess. So, but Hugh Grant, I feel like I have not seen him in forever, though.
Yeah.
I remember him as a kid, seeing him in some movies, but or not even movies. I think I've heard like his voice was in the Pirates, but like just seeing pictures of him in movies. But it's good to see him back, and he's doing. I think he did a pretty good job. Not the best. I think Michelle Rodriguez and Chris Pine definitely carried this whole cast.
He played in Glass Onion.
Where did he play in Glass Onion?
I don't know.
That's a good question.
I think a side character.
He must have been a side character, because
I don't remember him in it.
I don't remember him
at all.
In it. That would be a good question.
Philip? I don't remember Philip.
I don't remember a Philip either.
Huh.
Anyways,
what would you give it out of five-star rating?
I think for me, giving this I need to also, like, in giving my 5-star, I need to evaluate it as I would with any movie. I can't have, I came in thinking it was going to be a bad movie, but I came out thinking, hey, it was a good movie. It was a good movie. I didn't think it was a bad. So I'd give it like a 3.8, 3.9, 3.9. I think it was pretty good. I don't think it made the threshold of 4. But there could have been a lot of things done with just acting and in general, just a little bit better of a CGI in some ways. So I think those were some major points. But if you watch the old Dungeons and Dragons back in 2000, the CGI was horrible in that, and so bad compared to this. So you give a little slack. But yeah, I would give it a 3.8. I think I didn't really think of anything like when I was watching it. I wasn't like, oh, that's dumb, or that was poor writing. Except there was one time where I was like, with Hugh Grant, his way that he talked, forget what his line was, but it was just like poor. Either it was poor,
or just wasn't delivered
writing,
right,
or just was really delivered poorly. So
sure,
yeah, there wasn't a whole lot of points like that. Good cast.
Great cast. I'm gonna echo a lot of what you said, but I want to see this again, and I am contemplating it being on one of my, at least my top 5 potentially of the year so far.
Really?
Of favorite movies that I've watched this year. Yeah. There hasn't really been a lot that has been like wowing, I guess, when we've been to the movies.
Yeah, that's true.
So far it's top 5 easily. I'm curious what that'll look like closer to the end of the year when we see Guardians of the Galaxy, we see Super Mario Bros, we see all these other movies, but right now I really, really, really enjoyed that movie.
So you would go back and rewatch it?
Oh, 100%. 100%. I'm giving this a 4.5 out of 5. That's why when you said a 3.9, I'm thinking to myself, wow, that's really shortchanging in my opinion. Here's the reason why is in the pre-show we talked about World of Warcraft, for an example. In talking about like different characters, we were talking about, like I told Regan I played a paladin in World of Warcraft, and I got a lot of different vibes of different types of games and movies, and I felt like I really, for the first time in movie form, felt or experienced something similar to that.
Hmm.
And if you're going to see Dungeons and Dragons, a lot of people are probably going to go there because they are fans of Dungeons and Dragons in the first place. But you don't even have to be a Dungeons and Dragons fan to be
Yeah.
able to go and watch this and enjoy it.
Yeah.
I think the cast does a great job at, Chris Pine does a fantastic job at explaining things in a funny way. The way I kind of relate it to is Ant-Man and what's his name in Ant-Man? Oh my gosh. My lord. What's his name? Starring. Oh, Michael Pena. Michael Pena from Ant-Man, who in Ant-Man he plays. Where is he? What did he play in? He played Scott Lang's buddy, who basically got him back into stealing stuff. And they give him the truth serum, and then he explains the whole situation. They kind of have that kind of vibe throughout this movie with Chris Pine, is that he would go on these tangents and explain things, and it would really like help you understand like Dungeons and Dragons, some of the lore, some of the ideas, and things like that. So I thought that was a really fun, awesome, cool thing. The only knock is that I just wish Chris Pine would have had a bigger role in some action scenes. Personally,
Yeah.
that would be my only knock, and we thought we could talk more about that in the spoiler stuff. But highly recommend going and seeing it. You
100%.
do not have to be a Dungeons and Dragons fan to watch Dungeons and Dragons: Honor Among Thieves. You do not. It is a
Not at all.
fantastic movie. I highly recommend it. Super fun, entertaining. And it actually, for me personally, hit on a lot of emotions that I was not expecting. There was times where I was laughing. There was times where there was some like, oh my gosh, I can't believe this is actually happening. Some sad moments, kind of the ending piece a little bit. And it just kind of like you hit pretty much everything at some point, which is always a good thing. You don't want a movie that's all funny the entire time. You do see the characters' personal beliefs and in their sadness and they're in a sticky situation,
Yeah.
a lot of times. So, but that's our non-spoiler review. Go back, watch it, come back, listen to listen to the rest of the pod. We're gonna dive into this. If you stay, this is your spoiler warning. We're gonna get into everything. We're gonna get into everything. So spoiler warning. Spoiler warning. So that's your spoiler warning. Get the heck out of here unless you want to stay. So first things first. I want to jump into some characters. Regan, we see that at the beginning of the episode or beginning of the movie, we kind of get into this. We kind of get into this piece where the first act is backstory, a lot of backstory, a lot of what happens beforehand. I think this is a fantastic way to do it. Because as you've noticed with a lot of my reviews is that context is everything for me. I hate trying to figure out, like in some cases I'm okay with trying to figure things out, but it's like, okay, I want to know who these characters are. And I think this show does a really, really good job about that. The choices that Chris Pine makes throughout this movie, throughout Edgar, I think is what is Edgar. I think is what it is. Edgin. I gotta look. Edgin Darvis. Edgin Darvis makes a lot of stupid mistakes. He makes a ton of dumb mistakes. And we see that throughout the entire movie. I'm curious, as a normal guy, as a normal human being, when we make these dumb decisions, like we've got to learn from our mistakes. And I just feel like this guy, like, he's like the epitome of like, he's like a Joe Duffy. He's like a Joe Duffy.
Gosh.
It's like, it's never.
That is such an inside joke, man.
I know it. I know it is. So we'll give some context here. So we know this guy who he's had a lot of bad things happen to him, and it's not because of outside sources. It's all inside. Like he makes the dumb decisions, and it falls back on him really, really hard.
You feel
And
so bad for him.
You feel so bad for him, but you're just like, gosh, you do it to yourself. You know, like if you didn't do this thing, you would be fine. You know, like. So I got that feeling, and I was curious what's your thoughts on Chris Pine first off as an actor in this movie, but then as Egdin Tarvis as a character overall, because I think we see a lot of different we see a lot of different change, ebb and flows with this character. And so I'm curious what your thoughts are with that in particular.
Yeah, so my whole point with Chris Evans, I love Chris Evans, like I said.
Chris Pine,
not Evans, my bad. We've talked about two
No,
Chris
you're good.
Evans,
We talked about Chris Evans at the beginning.
But anyway, so Chris Pine, I think he does a phenomenal job with portraying this type of with Edgar. But I think, I look back at the different roles Chris Pine has had, and I don't know, some of the roles is, right off the bat, I'm thinking Star Trek.
Yep.
And then you have other things like, he was in Wonder Woman. He was in Jack Ryan.
He's been in some notable stuff.
He has been in some notable stuff, but I think for me, it's right off the bat is Star Trek. And it makes me think of the Star Trek of Kirk. I think of Kirk all the time in this, and so it's kind of the same character in the way. Not necessarily, just because it is Chris Pines, and he does give off a little bit of a different feel to it. But I think he does a phenomenal job. Anyways, I think he has that type of character that he is just he flourishes in this type of character. And as a leader, as somebody who isn't necessarily the strongest, is not necessarily the biggest or anything like that, but he can lead people and get people to join together for common good. That being said, his whole character, Edgin, I would agree with you in that he needed to do a lot more fighting. There seems to be little to none of him actually fighting anything. I can't remember anything right off the tip of my head of him basically fighting anyone, really. It's just him basically coming up with plans. Oh, actually, the Red Witch, he did fight.
He smacked him with his guitar.
That's all it is him smacking somebody with a guitar. And so, like, for me, it's just like, man, this isn't what I kind of want the leader to also be somebody that I can count on and that would be able to have my back if I were to, start losing. So if like Holga started to she started to lose in some type of battle or needed help, he could be able to step in and be that type of help that she needs. As well as, you loved Zank because he was, this very honorable man, but not only just honorable, but the man was just a badass, man. Literally, like the guy was such a badass, and you'd watch him play, like, and you're like, yeah, that's the guy that can lead and do everything, and everybody wants him on their team because he literally like pretty much almost slain a dragon by himself in this, and it's just like, and he's humble and all that stuff, but I mean that's not really what Edgin was. Although
Edgin was a what?
No, you go, dude.
Well, I was gonna say is Edgin. So Edgin was what he was a bard. So a bard casts spells, and in Dungeons and Dragons talk is that they cast spells. That's what they do. They cast spells with magic or with their music. So in the way I look at Edgin as a character is Edgin is the epitome of an actual like Dungeons and Dragons character. Okay. And so I don't know, Regan, I don't know if you played Dungeons and Dragons before, but all of it is you make decisions in the game. You make decisions, you roll. Sometimes the things that you're planning on doing don't work. Sometimes they do work. And we see that, like, personally, the reason why I like this character so much, yes, I wish he would have had, like, way more opportunity to do spells and to be a part of the action, is, like, Chris Pine embodied what you as a person would do in a Dungeons and Dragon role-playing sesh. Is that you would make these plans, you make these decisions, and then all of a sudden you're just like, you roll a 5 and you're like, shoot, I can't do that anymore. Like, now the whole plan's got to change. And I think he embodied that piece very, very well. What really pissed me off, though, was like, throughout the whole movie is like his lack of care for really his daughter, to be honest with you. Like, he lost. So at the beginning of the movie, we see that Chris Pine, he turns the tide. He was going to be a dragonfly, or I don't remember what it was called.
I forget what it
but
is.
he was going to join this group. And this group was like this mercenary group, really good people. But his dumb choices got his wife killed. He decided he wanted to steal stuff, became a thief, ended up going to prison. His wife got killed without ever even really thinking about his daughter. And so, as a father, right, like we both have kids.
Right.
That hit me the most, is like, why is this guy doing all of these dumb things, and his daughter is just getting she's getting the crap end of the stick? And it personally, it pissed me off, because I'm just like, you're an idiot. You're an idiot. Like, I don't go out to parties. I don't go out to drink. I don't go do all these things, because the repercussions is, if anything happens to me, it happens to my daughter. It happens to my wife. If I steal this and I go to jail, guess what? My wife doesn't have income. She doesn't have money coming in. The house is gone. My daughter doesn't have food, right? Like, and that's where, and I think this is how the character was supposed to be played, which, like, hey, hands off to you, Chris, because you got me pissed off at your character. And then at the end of the movie, I loved your character because you had to make a decision, and you went with the decision that would make your daughter the most happy and put your daughter in the right situation. That's what pissed me off throughout the movie, is like, every single time he would get this redemption, and then all of a sudden he just crapped the bed, and you're like, ah.
Okay, but the point of him stealing was for his daughter, because he knew that he had already made a vow to this specific group that he would never ask for anything in return, and he would just do it basically out of his own free will, for the goodness of his heart. And then he decided, after his wife died, that screw it, I'm going to start stealing. I mean, but you're all right that in the end we did find out that he stole because he wasn't happy with how he wasn't providing as much.
Yep.
And I can kind of relate in some ways, because I was there. if I was struggling with well, not necessarily struggling, but I wasn't able to provide for my family the way I would want to provide. We also have to take in the context of what era this is in. And this is in a Renaissance era, and stealing was a very common thing that happened. And it wasn't necessarily a bad thing.
And he went to jail.
Well, not for that, was it? It was
Yeah, because
for...
he stole. So at the beginning of the movie, he's walking the bald guy. He steals the thing. That's what gets his wife killed. And then after that, he steals with Holga. They get caught. Then they're sent to jail.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, though, like they were saying they were only stealing from people that didn't really need it. And that was
my gosh, don't even. Stealing from the rich is still okay? You think stealing from the rich is still
depending
okay?
on I mean, depending on where your heart's at.
Okay, well, I'm just thinking from my heart, I guess.
Well, I don't know. Like, if you're struggling, your family isn't. You can't provide for your family, and you not even necessarily. Yeah, your family. If you have a family, you guys can't really put the food on the table, but you know somebody across the street that they are not necessarily they can just afford it, but that they are abusing it in some ways, in wrongful ways. You're gonna try to steal, or I mean, not as a steal, but I mean,
stealing.
Steal.
Look,
Yeah,
the difference is it's their money anyway, so you can do what you wish with that money. The way I would have looked at it is it just showed that there was no morality, right? Like the morality was I'm gonna steal and not like he knew the repercussions, and then the repercussions happened, and then he was gone from his child, which made his child like I mean it turned his back his daughter's back against him essentially.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just think there's give and take with it. It's like, okay, you can't figure it out. I'm on the mindset of, okay, well then let's go figure it out. Let's go find somebody that can help me figure it out. You know, like let me go like there who it's like if you were struggling, where would you go? Would you steal from me? Then like you wouldn't probably steal from me. You'd probably be like, hey, Matt, I need help with this, this, and this. And I'll be like, oh, okay, well then let's figure it out. You know, like that's the way I would have looked at it. But we're getting into like the minor stuff, I guess, in choices because everybody makes different choices.
Yeah.
Personally, I thought it was. Did I like the choices? Not entirely.
No,
but it showed how D&D works. Is that you have a choice, and that choice can either work out or it doesn't work out, and then there's repercussions for that choice if it doesn't work out. Because it's like if you don't like, have you ever watched Stranger Things, right?
Yeah.
Stranger Things episode 1. We see that they're about to throw a fireball. Season 1, episode 1.
Yep.
Is that they go and they're like, cast the fireball, no, do the impenetrable shield. And or whatever, right? And the choice was, life or death, pretty much. Like Will ends up getting caught from the Demogorgon because the fireball didn't work, right? And it's the same thing. I think that really gives us what Dungeons and Dragons ultimately is in the end, right? It's a game about choices and luck and hoping that it works out. And that's kind of the role Chris Pine played, which I really, really liked. Going to the counterpart here, the counterpart to Chris Pine, counterpart to Edgar Davis, or I think is what his name, Edgin Dravis, I think is what it is. We have Holga. Holga's introduced here somewhat at the beginning of the movie after the wife dies, after Chris Pine's wife dies, as another mother figure to step into the role as a mother. And I love this. I really, really love this. I really wanted to ask because so for those of you who don't know, Regan has a kid.
Yep.
He's also remarried, so now he
Yep.
has a step. His wife is now the stepmom to his son.
Yep.
In seeing someone take that step into becoming a mother figure to that kid, how does that make you feel as an audience member, right? And how does that make you feel like going into life, right? And saying, oh, okay, this is exciting to see, or this is like, inspiring in a way, like to have someone similar to that, or I don't know. I'm just kind of throwing that out there because there's similarities between.
Right.
Because
But-
the thing that I love about movies is that there's so many things you can relate to your life, and it's a transfer of emotion. That's what
Mhm.
movies are. It's a
Right.
transfer of emotion. So when I see a father and daughter struggling, I can relate, and I can either say, "Ooh, I know I'm never going to be in that situation. I'm not going to put my daughter in that situation," or, "Man, I'd really love to have that moment with my daughter,"
No,
or "I
yeah.
wish this moment upon my daughter." So that's why I asked that question. Having another mother figure step in now that you have a stepson, or you have a kid who now has a
Yeah.
stepmother. Like, what's your thoughts on that whole thing? How does that
Well,
play a role in your emotional aspect? Of
Yeah,
movies?
so the thing that I mean, it's heartwarming because for me because it is what I want for my child and my wife, my now wife, is that I want them to have a good bond between each other, that he can look to her just as much as his own mother, because I mean, obviously, his biological mother isn't going to you can't really replace that a whole lot, but in that whole situation, and leaving me and putting me in the spot that I was, and what I really wanted in life was a mother that would care and love my child, no matter what. And so it you really kind of see that with Olga and Kira, um especially the first scene when they get back from the jail, and Kira has like this grudge against Edgin, or I mean her father, and she goes right away to Holga and hugs her pretty much right away, and that's a
Yep.
huge indicator to me that she really cares about Holga. And then I mean, going back to kind of why my feelings in that whole situation with Holga and Kira, and bringing up my feelings, and kind of connecting those, I'd say that was heartwarming, like I already said. But it's I feel that way because with my wife and my son, I get that sometimes. There's little moments where I get to see them interact with each other as if they know each other well, and that they are, I don't know how do you put it, not good friends, but
They're connecting.
they're connecting. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so, like, for me, that's a huge heartwarming moment for me. And so, like, when things like that happened, yeah, especially at the very end too, when Holga was stabbed and by the the Red Witch's knife,
The dagger.
the dagger. Yep. And then they decided to resurrect her instead of her mother. That because, well, not necessarily because Edgar wanted to, but because Kira, or Edgin maybe,
Made that choice.
because
much.
Kira loved her more, and that Edgin decided it's better for her to be happy and needing this than for me to have my wife.
Yeah.
Because her connection with Holga is more important
Yep.
than my own things, because my intentions have been selfish and haven't necessarily been for Kira. So, like,
Yep.
yeah, that's a huge dad moment too,
Yep.
because knowing for me as a father,
Oh,
I
sorry, my throat. I apologize. Oh.
like for me as a father, like I want to be the best for my son in any ways that I can. And if that means I have to admit, as much as wrong as I can, I'll do that. If that means I have to lay down my life, I'll do that. I will do anything for my son to make sure that he grows in such a nourishing and flourishing environment that I can provide for him. So I try my best. Obviously, I'm human. I'm not going to be the best, just as Edgin was. And there's so much you can actually. I mean, at least for me, I can relate to Edgin in that technically his wife died. My wife or my ex-wife didn't necessarily die. She just left me. And,
Yeah.
You know,
There's some similarities, but not exactly. But
not exactly, but you know,
that's
still,
why, dude. That's why I love movies, man. It's like there's so many. If you do it right, and I think this movie did. I think they did it personally. I think they did it pretty. I think they did it right.
Right,
Is
they
that
did
like
it.
the transfer of emotion, the feeling that you get at the end of the movie, where Chris Pine, you realize he finally made the right decision. Like in this whole movie, he's just made some really bad plans and really
Yep.
bad decisions, and he finally made that right decision for his daughter, which is
Yep.
like literally all I was rooting for throughout the movie. I'm just like, it's your daughter. Like, why are you doing this? All you're doing is affecting her. Like, why are you doing this to yourself? Like, you're trying to do it for her, but in the end, it's really just screwing yourself. But no, good. I don't want you guys. I don't want you to have to go into do too much detail about like your whole situation. But I
No,
just
it's
felt
good.
like there was a lot of like similarities, and movies do a really good job at bringing in the fact that like they have to be able to relate to us as we relate to the movies.
Yeah.
And I think that's where when they sprinkle in certain things like that, you're just like, oh, okay, that's what attaches me to the movie a little bit more, and it adds more strings to pull you closer and closer and closer. And I thought that was one of those. Holga was a BA as well. We
Yeah,
cannot
100%.
forget about that. She was the brute
100.
of the whole story, and I think she carried the battles the entire time.
Yep.
What I had wished we would have seen more of was the druid. In her name, what was her name? Her name was Doric. Sophia Lillis playing as Doric.
Yep.
Who's a druid, who's a shapeshifter.
Mhm.
Her owl bear form was, I mean, that's the coolest thing.
Yeah.
Personally, I thought that was so cool.
Yeah.
And the way they navigated that character and being able to use different animals and insects and all
Right.
these other different things, they did a really good job at creating cool strategies with her. And so I wanted to talk about that one scene in particular was we see that Chris Pine has come up with a plan, and his plan is to get into the castle because there's a big games going on, and the bad guy, what was his name? What the frick was his name again? I gotta pull it. Forge. I keep pulling it up and then pulling it back down. So we see Forge. He is like the king of this city, and he's running these games, and these games are basically like killing people. And what he's doing is he's bringing all these rich people in to have them bring in all of their coin, all of their valuable things, so that way he can get rich because he ends up stealing it. Well, they're trying to figure out how to get into that vault to get this tablet, and the tablet is shown at the beginning of the movie where they first get caught. Is this tablet is supposed to revive Chris Pine, Edgin's wife, and so they do this scene where they get this photo, and they have a staff Man, we're kind of jumping around, but I'm going character by character. I don't really care.
That's good.
We're going character
good.
by character today.
We don't care. We're just
We have
reviewing
a
the movie,
portal
man.
staff. This portal staff, and they create this cool strategy to be able to get into the forbidden area at the coin, like the bank or whatever, for
Right.
all the prize money. How do you feel that them using Doric and her abilities, you not really knowing what a druid was coming into it? Like, what's your, like, after seeing all that, what's your thoughts on that?
Oh, I thought you were talking about how I got up in the middle of the movie and then I came back when
No.
oh.
Regan always has to. So we get Slurpees. Well, I have my
I
stomach's
get
been all
Slurpees.
messed. My stomach has been getting messed up from the Slurpees.
Please.
The last 2 times we went to the movies, I didn't get a Slurpee because my stomach's been messing up. Now Regan left right as they were introducing the druid, and I was like, oh no, like, because it was the coolest thing. Like, I really like druids; they're really cool. I've played them in World of Warcraft before, but seeing that type of character, what's your thoughts on the character? Like, if you were given a video game to play that had that, would you be interested in playing something like that? I will be right back. One second. I can hear you.
Okay. Yeah, I think that'd be an interesting character to play. I should say. I'd be interesting to see, how you like strategically go about it in like World of Warcraft. I don't know too much about World of Warcraft where I could be like, yeah, I'll play this guy, and I know exactly what's going to happen if I play this specific person, because I don't necessarily know the whole point of World of Warcraft. I haven't been a huge fan of it, or necessarily fan of it, I should say, player of it. As well as I don't know too much about Dungeons and Dragons. I never really played the game. That was something that never. Well, I was asked to play it twice actually, and it never, it all fell through. Shout out to Affinity Bros for asking me to be a part of the D&D night. I'm still up for it. Anyways, I think Dungeons and Dragons is a great idea for a game, board game, of just making your own character, and not necessarily like a video game in sense, but more in the sense of just creating your own world. But to play a ward, I think that's the guy's award. Doric plays the ward. If only Matthew was here to tell me if it's a ward or not. Anyways, but if I was asked to play a ward, I probably would say, sure. I don't know. I'm down to play any character, but that wouldn't be probably my first reaction of choosing a character. I think more so when I choose a character, I think they got to be strong. Not necessarily. I'm not really strategic when I play games. I just think I just pick the strongest guy and I should be good to go. If I think he looks good and he looks strong, yep. I'm a huge judge a book by the cover in games. If you, especially, I mean, not necessarily games, but in just card games, if somebody has a oh gosh, if somebody has like a big guy in a card game, I'll probably pick that guy because I'm just a big. Yeah, if the strongest guy wins, man. The strongest guy wins. So
Okay. Yeah, so I heard everything you said. It's a druid.
Druid.
Yeah, it's a shapeshifter. A bard is Chris Pine's character.
Ooh.
Yeah. But
My bad, guys.
no, you're good. I had to drop some heat really quick. I've been holding it this entire time. It was so bad.
Oh gosh.
So I would that actually brings me to my next point. So then if you were to pick one then based off the movie, and I think I already know the answer to it. I mean, we have a bard, right? The bard, He's technically supposed to be using music as spells. We've got like a warrior in Holga. She's the big battle axes. We've got a druid who's a shapeshifter. We've got a sorcerer who does magic. And then we have the main man himself, the paladin, which is Xerxu.
Zinc or Zinkyender.
Zinkyendar.
Yeah,
Zinkyendar.
Zinc. Dude, anything whatever the Zinc was. I wouldn't even care about like the name of the person. I'm like, if he looks cool and I know you can slash it.
Well, the crazy thing is you can make all of those. So you like in most of these games, and it's not just World of Warcraft. You can make all those characters look really, really cool. It just depends on what you want. So, but yeah, if I had to pick one, it's that paladin all day long.
Dude, he was so cool. Like
we needed more of him.
And yeah, like if I kind of sad that he didn't join them on like to go and defeat the Red Witch. I was kind of sad that like he's like, no, you guys do your own thing, and
go run. Bye.
And yeah, I was kind of sad, but he is hilarious. He is kind of like what's his face from what's the Marvel Star-Lord
Drax?
Yeah, Drax.
Kind of dry humor.
Yeah, the dry humor that he can't take anything serious, or anything like that. So he just
But he took everything serious. That was the problem.
Right. He took everything as literal, and that's the thing with Drax. He takes everything literal. You know, he said, "I would catch it." So
I'll take it
right
straight
over
to
your
the
head.
face.
It would go right over you. Everything I say goes right over your. No, I would catch it. But yeah,
movies like this make me want to play World of Warcraft, massive multiplayer online games, role-playing games.
Yeah, the role-playing games, like that's what I was kind of also going to talk about too. Is that the D&D I feel like was the gateway for video games. I feel like because when did D&D when was D&D created? Because like I feel like it was created in 1974. When was the first video game created? 1958. Physics William Hytton created what is thought to be the first video game. It was a very simple tennis game similar to classic 1970s video game Pong. It was quite a hit. Huh.
You want to look at RPG.
Yeah, that's probably
it was the first
RPG.
Role-playing game Dungeons and Dragons was.
Yeah, RPG video game created because 1974.
It was
the first
it is literally the
RPG game was D&D, an entirely text-based game based on Dungeons and Dragons.
My dad used to play it.
Really? Okay, that's yeah, and people love that. I mean, that's a huge market for people. And so like, but like to actually, I don't know. I feel like it's a lot better to actually sit down with people and go through it instead of just going online by yourself or through like just interacting with a TV. I mean, call me old fashioned. Call me old fashioned, guys.
Actually,
call me old fashioned.
That's how Dungeons and Dragons is supposed to be played.
Right, and it's way better. I feel like, and I like those types of games that kind of like you're not necessarily trying to win, but you're just trying to have a good time. And I feel like D&D is like that. That you're just trying to have a good time with your buddies, and you're just having an adventure. And that's like playing games like Spike Ball or I'm not very. I like when we play those. There's sometimes I will get competitive, but sometimes it's just like, this is a good time. This is a good time for us hanging out. We focus on one common goal, and we're creating memories. There's some games that I've played, and it's really, I don't know. You're not. I guess you're not too thoughtful on the strategy, I guess.
Yeah. That's why I like for an example, World of Warcraft is like, it's a game that you have to dive into the world to be able to operate. Versus we play Apex Legends and it's like, okay, you play one round and you're done. But what have you really gained from it? Like, you haven't really built upon what you're doing all that much, right? Like, for an example, I got a max level warrior, right? For an example, and like, I leveled it all the way from level 1 to 80. And during that time, I had to do dungeons and quests and all this stuff just to get to that level.
Right.
And you actually build upon it. So I think this movie, and we'll kind of wrap up here because, I mean, there's a lot to this movie, right? There's a ton to this movie.
So much.
So, and the runtime was 2 hours and like 15 minutes or something like that. So
I didn't know it was that
long movie.
Right.
Yeah, it was a good movie, but there's a lot of different things that are in the movie that you just got to go see for yourself. And if you've watched all the way to this point and you haven't seen it, thank you for watching. Obviously, thank you for listening. But go back and watch it. I'm gonna go watch it again, probably not in theaters, but when it comes out. But it's
probably
definitely a
coming to
rewatchable
HBO.
movie.
I think it's coming to HBO Max.
Yeah,
be prepared.
Might.
If any,
are we gonna put a money wager on that?
You want to? I think if any streaming software, what is a streaming company
service,
whatever you want to call them, HBO would be the one. I'm just calling it. I'm calling it. They seem like they would be the ones to get the
rights to that.
The rights to that, especially with.
I think Star Trek's on there.
But what's the their famous the dragon, not the dragon one, but the one that you like, but I don't like because there's no.
Oh, Game of Thrones.
Game of Thrones.
Yep.
And so
I could see it
because of that.
I could see it. I could totally see it.
Yeah, just wait.
But anyway, that's going to
Number one
conclude
movie, though.
our TV show. 100%. Anyway, that is our review over Dungeons and Dragons Honor Among Thieves. Go ahead and check it out. Man, what a show. What a show,
man.
What a freaking show, man.
I mean, we had a great pre-show with great combos there. We had a great show with great combos.
Big
shows. The whole time. Like,
big
we got
shows.
A review. We should probably talk Mando next week.
Ooh, yeah, I got to catch up on Mando.
I haven't been watching that.
I haven't been watching it either.
I love it. I love Don't get me wrong. I love Mandalorian. I've just been busy with new work, new life.
You actually got a job now.
I have to, dude. Working 40 hours is the worst. My
word. Man.
Ugh.
Jeez.
Ugh, man,
there's not a freaking single job in this freaking town. Unless you want to work 40 hours a week.
You want to work 40 hours a week. Oh, man. It's great, dude.
But
yeah.
Anyway, after this, we're going to hop on Instagram real quick, and we are going to post a video to the Goof and Goober Show.
Yep.
Go ahead and check it out. We got some goals. We got some giveaways we're going to be doing. There's a little sneak peek. If you missed the pre-show, you missed kind of the inside scoop to all that. But check out our Instagram. Check out all of our socials. Follow them. Share them. Get people to follow them. Because there's a lot coming in store, ladies and gentlemen. A ton coming in store. So much. Anyway, it's been a pleasure. Regan, thank you for hopping on the Goof and Goober Show.
No problem.
I love doing this with you, man. It's fun.
Every Monday,
it's good
man.
to talk.
It is.
Talk stuff.
It's one of the things I look forward to every week.
Yep.
Sitting down with you, 8 p.m., going at it.
Going at it. Alrighty. You want to throw out the...
Thanks for listening to the Double G Show. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to our YouTube channel at the Goof and Goober Show. And why don't you check out our Instagram page at the Goof and Goober Show for even more content and drop a follow. Thanks again, and have a wonderful day.